All right. Welcome, everyone, members and audience and people on TV and radio land out there. The Consumer Banking and Consumer Affairs Committee is now coming to order. And as you know, Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow last week, so we have 12 more weeks of banking and consumer affairs. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Representatives Barrett, Bricken,
Here.
Camper,
Here.
Faison.
Present.
Faison is present. Garrett.
Here.
Garrett is present. Lynn. Here. Lynn is present. Sparks.
Here.
Sparks is present. Vaughn. Chairman Powers.
Here.
Chairman Powers, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, any personal orders before we take off today, before we begin? Anyone? If not, we're without objection, we're going to go a little bit out of order. Representative Capley has to be in another committee. Representative Capley, you are recognized on House Bill 129. Got a motion? Do we, and a second? Representative Capley, you're recognized.
I could cut the mic on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill makes government work better by updating collateral requirements for local government funds held on deposits with federal savings banks. This would remove promissory notes as a form of collateral and will more accurately reflect current industry practices. Collateral will be more easy to monitor, and thus the public funds will be more securely safeguarded. This is a comptroller bill.
And Representative Capley, is this your first bill?
No, sir.
Okay. We had some comments for you if it was. That was the wrong end. Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is not your first bill?
No, sir.
What is your first bill?
My first bill was a bill brought to me by TDEC.
Not the first bill you filed, the first bill you presented.
Yes, sir. It was brought to me by TDEC.
And you've already presented that one?
Yes, sir. Ag sub.
Have you made it to the House floor with it yet?
No, sir. I have not had the pleasure.
You use the word collateral a whole lot. Can you spell collateral? Not without looking?
Yes, sir. I do have the ability to spell collateral.
Do you understand what collateral is?
Yes, sir. I believe I have the understanding of what collateral is.
Are you old enough to have collateral?
That's a great question, sir. I'll have to refer to my friends in the comptroller's office.
Any other questions? Any other questions from the committee? Okay. Representative Garrett.
Just to clarify, because I assume you weren't listening before, is that this is your first bill in this committee?
Yes, sir.
Good. Do you want another bill in this committee?
Yes, sir. At some point, I would like to do that, I'm sure.
Good. I'll reserve my time for that bill, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other questions on House Bill 129? Okay, I think we're ready to vote on it. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Representative Capley, you are headed to Commerce, and we will see you there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, the next bill is House Bill 82, and it's by Chairman Boyd. Chairman Boyd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee. And Mr. Chairman, I just want to say this is the beginning of my 6th year in this General Assembly, and this is my first year not being on this committee. And I'm very sad to not be here anymore, but it looks like you've got a good cadre of representatives up here, so I trust it's in good hands.
Yeah, it looks like our request went through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I walked into that one, I suppose.
Mr. Chairman, I rescind my motion.
We had a motion and a second, right? Okay. You're ready to present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 82 is a bill brought by the Bureau of Workers' Compensation. It makes various changes to the workers' compensation statute, and so I'll go through these real quick, and then I'll take any questions. Currently, there is an uninsured employees fund that's funded exclusively from fees that employers pay when they violate the statute, and there is a $20,000 benefit that's available for temporary disability. There's a $20,000 benefit available for medical benefits, and this would create a death benefit of $20,000 that would be comparable to those two benefits. It allows the Court of Workers' Compensation to award a 25% penalty to an injured worker whose employer or employer compensation carrier wrongfully failed to provide reasonable and necessary medical expenses and treatment. It also gives workers' compensation judges the discretion to award attorney's fees up to 20% of the recovery, which just codifies a Supreme Court case there, and it clarifies that a copy of a signed C-32 medical report is admissible when it is scanned in or it's an electronic image. It doesn't have to be a wet inked image. And then finally, it codifies the standard practices where a settlement agreement is prepared by either the mediator or one of the parties' legal representatives. That's the change. It used to have to be the mediator. Now it can be one of the representatives. And so additionally, it allows establishes a statutory authority for a voluntary certified physician-trained program to educate physicians on best practices in treating injured workers and assigning permanent impairment ratings, and it allows an additional fee to the physician for doing this. Mr. Chairman, I would doubt if this committee would have any questions, but if they do, I will be happy to answer them.
Okay, if no one else does, I will. But do we have any questions for the presenter, Chairman Boyd? Just tell me one thing that you did mention that I'm not very familiar with workers' comp, the medical, what's that, M32 form? Is that standard right now, or is that a new form?
Mr. Chairman, the form is standard, but it has in the past and right now, it has to be the paper, wet, signed copy. And so that's the only thing that's admissible. This would allow that to be scanned in or an electronic version of that form.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Representative Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question about the life insurance benefit. I think that's terrific, a really great thing to do. But will it cost more money to provide that benefit, or are the funds sufficient of what's being charged now to provide that benefit?
Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The funds are sufficient right now. It would come out of that fund that is funded exclusively by penalties, and they estimate that you might see one of these a year, which would be $20,000. So it's adequately funded.
Okay. Any other questions on the panel? Looks like we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? It's the same, and there are none. And with that, Chairman Boyd, House Bill 82 is moving to Commerce, and I know you have another one ready to go. And it is House Bill, it is House Bill 489. Chairman Boyd, you're recognized on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee. House Bill 489 is brought by the bankers, and this just cleans up some statute that's in need of being deleted and changed a little bit. It clarifies that since the inheritance tax is no more, there's a provision that says that if an owner of a safety deposit box dies, they typically notify the Department of Revenue, and so it takes away that provision. It's just simply not needed anymore. The next thing that it does is it provides that a trust company does not need to provide public notice when they open a new branch. Trust companies just don't really interact with the public, and no other business has to do that. And the final thing that it does is it provides that state chartered banks have the same authority as national banks to seek payment from a borrower for the fee charged to a release of deed of trust. Mr. Chairman, I will take any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from the committee? Anyone? We're ready to vote? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same, and none, and it passes, and you are on to full commerce with that one too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee.
We'll see you there. All right, thank you. And that wraps everything up, and Chairman Vaughn, we're glad to have you. And you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My apologies for being tardy today, but the Capitol View Publix was out of bread in their deli, if you can think of such a thing. I know supply chain is something that everyone is having difficulty managing, but how a grocery store can be out of bread, I just don't know. And so I got lost down that wormhole. but I'm really glad to have gotten here for the back part of the meeting.
But that is a non-negotiable motion. We are adjourned.